Hello, Just.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Um,
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is another one of our decisions meetings that we are. It's a bit more serious than our snappy wrap ups, just in case anyone's just tuning into this for the first time. Joss and I are having to change day by day how we run Aesthetic Laundry. So we just thought we'd involve you guys in the process. And this is the day 7.
Feels like day 495, but it's 7.
Definitely.
um,
Yes. So first day at the studio yesterday with the new. So basically, do you want to tell everyone why we changed?
yeah, basically we made this video because we wanted to update you on how we're doing the operations of Aesthetic Laundry, because obviously the government advice as of this week and as of today, it's still the same, is that you do not travel to work unless you cannot work from home. And for us, this is a conversation that we're having constantly about what we can do from home and what we need to be in the studio to do in order to keep Aesthetic Laundry running. And so yesterday, before Heidi went to the studio, we had a very long call about how we just make sure that we're doing, and we've got all the kind of different things in place so that we're being as safe as possible, and also minimizing the amount of time that Heidi is spending outside of your flat, basically.
Yeah. It was really uncomfortable the other day, wasn't it? I think you just frozen just because of that.
Yeah, and I think also because I think we spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday, because we had kind of concerned family and friends, and some of you guys contacted us and said, like, are you sure you need to be going to the studio? Like, can you not just stay inside? And at that point we were like, the number of people that are mentioning it to us, like we are taking it on board, and it's just an incredibly fine balance now between us staying at home as much as we can, but if for us, because we make and produce everything in-house in the studio, if we do not go to the studio at all, we're essentially closing down. And right now, based on, I think if you watched our last video about how we're probably going to have to go to the bank because we're waiting for the government to announce what they can and can't do for small businesses to help us, until there is more clarification, we need to run like a real skeleton version of operations from Aesthetic Laundry, just to try and make sure that we can stay afloat. And so that's why we have made the decision based on where Aesthetic Laundry is, but also we're like 90% going off the government's advice here of, like, they're saying only go in if you cannot work from home. And so for us, that is purely to make and dispatch orders.
Yeah.
So
most
that's essentially why.
Made, so it's just a case of like topping up whatever isn't made, and then we like we obviously still want. They're saying, so the government guidelines and everything are saying that we can dispatch, and we could, like, everyone is still going to work who works in the e-commerce postal. Do you know what I mean? That whole thing, the government is saying don't shut that down because they need it to carry on. But then it's like, right, well, I was going to work on the bus, so I didn't feel comfortable, because not for me, but for other people. Like, I don't want to, if I've got it, just, especially if I'm not showing or whatever, you just don't want to be in contact with anybody else. And then it's very hard to do the social distancing when you're on a bus and a lot more people get on, for example. So then yesterday in stories, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I showed the journey of me literally spraying everything, being like vigilant on how I get to the studio. I go on a bike. That's my form of exercise. I'll spray the bike before I get on with the disinfectant everywhere that I'm going to touch and everywhere that anyone else might have touched. Then when I get off the bike, I'll spray it again, just in case. Like, all of the handle, literally, like where you push the thing, it's like a higher bike. So wherever you touch the handles, the grip's underneath. I must have looked mad, but yeah. And then the door of the studio, and then from the keys, from every single thing is cleaned before, and then yeah. So
Yeah, and so it was kind of just to we spent a long time talking about this yesterday, about what is the right thing for us to do, and for now, until the government says, and as soon as they do, we will obviously rejig everything that we're doing again.
Yeah.
We are going to carry on, but it's going to be really scaled back. So Heidi, you will be going to the studio like 2 days max maximum, and that's only if it's even needed. It might even just be that one day a week is enough. We will be going only to, like I said, like make and fulfill orders that are coming through. It's not about being in there to like work full time, and actually all the like other stuff that you do, which is like everything on social, etc., etc., like everyone else out there is doing at the moment, we will be doing it from home. It's purely that operation side that we just need to keep alive.
Like, I was thinking about, I could write a blog today, maybe like a blog post, just from my point of view. Obviously you are the blogging queen, Joss. Do not want to step on your toes, but maybe from it will just show another insight on what we're doing, maybe. I don't know. And then just to touch on that again, like about going into the studio for only the necessity for sewing. So people have been saying, why don't you just take your sewing machine home? But because we offer, so Aesthetic Laundry is a business, and we have so many different products. And then if I was to bring the fabric for those products home, it would fill my lounge. And do you know what I mean? And if I was to bring the overlocker and the sewing machine home, you need to bring the tools and the cutting tools, and you need a cutting table, and then you need to bring all the boxes of patterns. There's so much bump that comes with, it's not just a sewing machine with one. Do you know what I mean? Because I could go to the studio, get the fabric to then sew it at home. So it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so we did talk about that. We talked about whether we could do it from your home. Like, what did we need to get to do it in your flat? And that's when we were like, we would literally have to empty the studio, put it in your flat, which we have a small studio, but I don't think it would even fit in your flat. Like, everything that you need.
Down the line, just thinking ahead, going down the line, like even if we can't then get to the studio, but we can set, because Royal Mail, we looked online last night, and Royal Mail can come to you to collect the post. And it's cost something like £1,000 or something. You have to be sending 1,000. I don't know what it was, but it was a bit like, whoa. But so we can't do that yet. But we can't, because we just can't. We haven't got £1,000 to drop on the post. We just haven't got that. When the time comes, if that's how we have to survive, then what we can do is bring all of the stock that we have and just put that on the website. So it's all made. So I literally don't make anything, and then everything's just sent out. So it'll be like a little dispatch zone in the house.
A warehouse in the house.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's it. Like, we will keep talking every day. And give it 2 hours and we'll have probably changed everything we've just said again. But for now, as of 9 o'clock this morning, this is our plan.
Yes. You're going to be chiming in. This is our decision.
And this is our decision. Cool.
In other news, I cut one of my tassels off of the tie top today and tied it around my head. So if you're wondering what this thing is, that's that.
I'll just get one of mine.
Well, this is tied to things. Right.
Cool. I'll speak to you in
about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Stay safe. And I'm just going to try and figure out how to pause this video.